5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
You are listening to The Bad Boy Radio Show with Mr. Locario and Miles Cunningham. This is that real shit, not that fake shit. The only radio show that's not afraid to tell you the truth about the game. This is The Bad Boy Radio Show. Remember, the truth is inside you.
All right, we are back on The Bad Boy Show. And today we're talking about how all, not some, all male internet movements are a cope for not having game. So what are some of these male movements we're talking about? So, you know, we could go to MGTOW back, you know, that was like one of the big ones, MGTOW, and then you have other ones that's like the offshoot of that, like SYSBM, which stands for Save Yourself Black Man. MGTOW is men going their own way. I think there's another one called IBMOR. I can't remember what the acronym for that, but it's sort of like in that same vein of like SYSBM and MGTOW, I think. You know, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know they're like, no, it's not about that. You don't understand. But it's all the same shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, even the red pill shit, you know, that some of that is part of that type of shit. The incel, the black pill, the passport bros, all of it. All of those things are a cope for not having game or having weak ass game. Every last one of the things. And you know what's interesting about every last one of those? And this is how you know it's a cope for them not having game, is that every last one of them has one thing in common. One major thing is that it's hugely focused on women. You understand that? Like every last one of them is the focus is about women and the reaction of the men based off of what's going on with them and women. Right? And so what happens is that these sort of movements and all this other stuff is formed on the internet because you have a lot of these guys out there who they're having trouble with women and dealing with women. And then so they need sort of like a safe space for them to feel like a man, to feel good about themselves. Right. And so what happens is that because they don't feel good in the context of the dating game, they're like, well, we're going to create something where, we're just men going our own way. We're not going to deal with all of that. And then what it does is that it creates a situation where you can feel like you've one-upped the situation, like you're above all the bullshit. You feel what I'm saying? And then so what happened, because they even talk about this in the book 48 Laws of Power. I think it's one of the laws where it says like, you know, disregard things that you can't have or something like that. Or I'm paraphrasing it, but one of the laws is like that, where it's saying like, if you know that you can't get something or achieve something or like have a certain situation, sort of just disregard it and act like you don't give a fuck. You understand what I'm saying? And so this is what a lot of these guys are doing, is they're coping in these situations because since they don't have game, they'll say shit like, well, game doesn't exist. And that's a bunch of bullshit, because they need for that to be the truth so that what they're participating in can have more validity. You understand what I'm saying? But then what happens is that when you peel back the layers, right, you realize that a lot of the situations are just them coping with the fact that they didn't have enough game to deal with women. They didn't have enough strategy to get with women or deal with women the way that they wanted to deal with them. Because if you break it down, it's directly correlated to women. But when we talk about game, this is why we say game is about you. This is why we say the game isn't about women. Because when you make it about women, then you create these little, you know, groups that's making it about women. Because if you're saying men going their own way from what? Women? Save yourself, black man, from what? The women. You know what I'm saying? Passport bros, we going overseas because the women over here in the Western world is all fucked up and all this other shit.
Right.
Red pill, female nature. You see what I'm saying? Like it's always about the bitch with these guys. You see what I'm saying? And so when we talk about game, it's about the man understanding himself and then mastering his own self, and therefore being able to do what he needs to do and navigate in any situation that he's dealing with in life. Now, if we're talking about the context of dating and relationships, right? That context has to do with us talking about women, but the game is not about the women. You see what I'm saying? Because what we're talking about in this context is we're talking about game as it pertains to the overall situation, which has to do with you in all these overall situations. Whereas if you're MGTOW or incel or black pill or all these other things, the main focus is about a reaction to the woman. Do you see what I'm saying? But Miles, what's your thoughts on that shit?
Facts. Nah, that's real shit, man. That's real shit. They're all and that in itself is a whole thing about their reactionary mindset.
Right.
And a reactionary mindset is also a victim mindset, because the reason why you're reactionary is because you're letting things happen to you instead of being proactive about what you need to do and what you need to focus on to get what you want.
Right.
And because look, either you are